Back at the McLean Barbershop, Talk of the Town 918. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Talk of the Town 918 edition. We got another special guest, my man Isaiah Thomas, an OU legend, a Memorial legend, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Memorial
Most
legend.
Definitely. Most definitely.
Bird Middle School.
Always.
Oh, okay.
Always. Man.
Got my guy. This guy means a lot to me. And I want to say thank you, Isaiah, before we get going. You changed my life a little bit, and I appreciate you. 70% of the college coaches I met is because of you, and I want to say thank you.
No problem. I never knew that, man.
Yeah. So I appreciate you.
Man. Yes, sir, man.
You know what I mean? So
yes,
we're going to get it going. We're going to kick it off right. We got my guy, Isaiah Thomas. Football, Cleveland Browns.
Yes, sir.
7th round pick. Oh, we're going to get into that.
Yeah, let's get into that.
Let's talk about how you got it going.
Okay.
Football.
Yeah.
Like, who put the ball in your hand, at what age, and when did you start?
Started playing ball 4th grade, 4th, 5th grade. My uncle Bobby, man, he's like a father figure to me. Never knew my father. So my mom's younger brother, my Uncle Bobby, man, really introduced me to it. Had a lot of male cousins and stuff like that. And I was always bigger for my size. They're like 4 or 5 years older than me, but I'm the same height as them. And next thing you know, we're out there, my grandma's front yard in the street playing football. I'm kind of killing it out there.
And how old was you at this time?
Man, at that time I'm like 9 years old, and my cousin's like 13 and stuff like that. And I'm making my doing good enough to show them that like, dang, like, okay, he can do something when he get this age. South Tulsa Raiders, man, got into that, man, and had was killing it out there against some kids. And next thing you know, man, just kind of, opened the door for me to where I am now.
And so what position did you start at? Like when you first went to the South Coast Raiders, what position did you start at?
Yeah, so I was at offensive line, and I was at defensive end. And, predominantly defensive end. Offensive line just because I was the biggest. I could help, protect, run block and whatnot. But defensive end, because I was killing it out there, man. My favorite move is, I was a swim move. That's all I knew. All I knew, man. Wow. All I knew, man. So, I was just killing it out there. Then, I just kept using it. Then, kind of molded into my favorite move up until I learned new stuff.
Oh, okay. So you played football, South Tulsa Raiders in elementary.
Yeah.
You went to middle school, Bird Middle School.
Yeah.
6th, 7th, and 8th. How was your career in Bird Middle School?
So my 6th grade year, man, I was on JV as well. I was on 6th grade. 6th grade team had their own team. Then JV.
Okay.
Right,
okay.
which is like 6th and 7th grade. But I was starting on 7th grade team as well. And I was a defensive end as well. And I also played like guard or center at the time and stuff like that. But mainly just there for defense. Offense because they needed me there, but defense I was killing it at that. And played up, with some top guys at that time in the state. Played against them, showed that I was, really skillful. I don't know if y'all remember Malik Greenlee.
Yeah,
linebacker. Yeah,
my first year there. Yeah,
he was a dog, and I had to. He was on the varsity, and I had to play up one game on varsity. I had to block him, well, try to block him.
Yeah.
He had like 7 sacks on me, man. I was like, yeah, I ain't playing no line, man.
Yeah.
But I was showing what I could do when I got to Bird Middle School, and it just kind of had the same success I had when I was elementary, man. Just killing it against guys older than me, and dominating my age group.
Oh, okay.
So, you mostly football, but at Memorial High School you played basketball.
Right.
You're a 2-sport star.
Right.
When did you start playing basketball? Was it just high school, or when you was little too?
So, organized basketball, middle school for sure. I was 8th grade playing. Really had 2 left feet essentially. I was just out there because I was tall, man. I was like, just layups and hook shots. That's all I was doing. Nothing too crazy. Then, went to Memorial. Obviously heard about the state championships and all. The historical players that went there and stuff. And in my freshman year, I was on the freshman team and on the JV team. Wasn't on varsity because obviously Memorial. It's rare for a freshman to play varsity and stuff like that. Favorite player was Dwayne Wade. I thought I was going to. I had hoop dreams, man.
You still do.
I still do. I was like, this football stuff a side job, man. Anyway, then I got into that. Then got a relationship with Coach Allison, and he seen something in me in basketball that I didn't even see in myself. Because as y'all know, I almost didn't play basketball my senior year, so I could leave early to Oklahoma. But he was saying that they needed me in order to win the state championship my senior year, and we ended up winning it.
Gotcha. So let's get into your high school career.
Yeah.
Memorial. Your freshman year, we wasn't there. I think we got there your sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
Your freshman year, how did that go? Did they move you straight on varsity?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So take us through that. Like, was it talks like, hey, 8th grade year, you gonna be on varsity your 9th grade year?
Yeah. So you know how Memorial Junior High now in Memorial High School they have that 8th grade, 9th grade little scrimmage and stuff, and I was kind of doing my thing when I was in 8th grade. Then got to Memorial. My Uncle Bobby was there. You know, he was, you know, like a legend as well in their eyes, you know, played varsity since his freshman year. Then Mike Quandine was he was a starting defensive end at the time, and I was there was a right tackle who was injured. And I played, like I kept saying, I played O-line since elementary, middle school. So I knew a little something, enough to keep a man in front of me without illegally blocking him. And it was Mike Quandine lined up against me, and I heard of Mike Quandine. You know, 6'4", 225, 4'4" speed. I'm like, man. And, you know, basically, I was like, let me just make sure this man doesn't get around me. So I'm at right tackle, and I'm like stalemating him, like 3 one-on-ones, like stalemate. Then the third one, he got me. And that's kind of like where the buzz came in during camp. Like, okay, like this kid can play for us. So my freshman year, I played varsity, but strictly O-line. Like, didn't even touch defense. And that's how that panned out. Then you guys came my sophomore year. First game of the season, I want to say it was Central. I played a little bit of D-line and stuff like that, whatever. Played O-line. Then, I know why you laughing. So second game of the season, we playing Edison. Big game, you know, Midtown Classic. Big rival. Everybody's watching, you know, scouts is here, you know what I'm saying, there to get paid. You know, I'm going into the mindset, okay, playing O-line, you know, probably going to get a few reps here on defense. It's 15 minutes before the game. 15 minutes. Maybe even 10 minutes. We just, you know, getting the team break. Coach Whitaker just walk up. Oh, by the way, Isaiah, you starting at DN today. All right, get a break. I'm like, whoa. So I'm like, what? I'm like, you know, I'm next to Rico and Corey. I'm like starting. I'm like DN. I was like, I ain't played DN like that since, you know, middle school or whatever. Then, you know, I know for sure I got 2 sacks that game. I remember the most memorable one is I had like a deep sack on Keelan Mayfield. You know, he was
nice.
He was, you know, in my eyes, a generational, you know, just talent. You know what I'm saying? You know, athletic and all. Then from that on, started every single game for the rest of my career at the end, man, and you really opened that door for me.
I appreciate, for sure. The reason why I did that, because I knew if I told you, like, during the week, you'll be nervous.
Oh, for sure.
I mean? So I didn't want to put it on you.
Yeah.
But I knew you was prepared, so that's why I really started. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy because I was ready for, and I always, like, freshman year, I was like, okay, I'm probably not ready. But my sophomore year, I knew I was, and we had a couple guys in front of me at the time. I want to say it was like Anthony Boyd, and it was some other light-skinned cat at the time. And
Allen?
I think it wasn't Allen. It was Isaac.
Isaac, yeah.
And so you know we little TU camp, and I'm killing. We're going against Millwood, Union. I'm killing it, man. I was like, man, this is my spot, man. You know, first game didn't really go as I was playing on defense, and second game you said, hey, you starting. Had 2 sacks that game, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. In fact.
So take us through it a little bit. When did you get your first? So you had a hell of a sophomore year, hell of a junior and senior year.
Yeah.
When did you get your first offer?
Well, but at first he was kind of frustrated.
Yeah,
I was frustrated
because he had to come talk to you because you were seeing other people getting offers.
I was,
you wasn't getting offers. And
So got my first offer after my season, my junior year, and the year before that, the season before that, Marcus Mays from Edison was getting all these offers. Man, I'm like, man, there ain't no way. Like he nice and all, but he ain't better than me. You know what I'm saying? He was, and I'll never forget. Actually, I got some hate, man. I don't really like him that much, but now at the time I did. But he my dog now. But at the time I ain't really like him because we was playing him and we beat him, and we was talking trash on the field, and I didn't have no offers at the time, and he did. And he was like, all right, yeah, whatever, but what school am I going to? What school you going to? I was like, oh, okay. I ain't say nothing. I was like, I ain't got no offers or whatever. Then after my junior year, you know, I had a really good junior year, man.
Damn good junior year.
After that junior year, a couple months after the season, I got I'm working with guys, recruiting, trying to help you with my huddle and stuff like that. And a guy texted me and was like, hey, call this number. Jackie Shipp, defense coordinator at the University of Missouri, wants to talk to you. I'm like, ain't no way. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, they ain't finna get me. You know? I was like, I ain't no sucker. Like, I know how this works, man. So, I talked to my teacher. She like, oh, of course. I step out, make a phone call. He said, hey, Jackie Shipp, you know, defensive coordinator at the University of Missouri, man. You know, talk to me for like 45 minutes. The longest phone call I've had when I was getting a scholarship offer at all my offers. It was like a 45 minutes to an hour. I missed a whole class period because of it. Then, you know, just at the end, he said, yeah, just want to let you know you got a full scholarship offer to the University of Mizzou. And I was like, you know, I hit you up instantly. I'm like, hey, Mizzou, I don't know if it's real, but hey, I think just D1, you know, SEC. I'm like, hey, I just all this and that. Next thing you know, Tennessee starts calling me. Oklahoma State called me. I think Vanderbilt. I think I got Iowa State. They all offered me within the same day. Next day, Oklahoma State offered. Texas Tech offered, Baylor offered, and all this and that. Then I think within the first 2 weeks, I had 14 offers. And then I was just taking unofficial visits and stuff like that. Then Oklahoma offered me. Then Alabama, when Alabama offered me, that's when I was like, all right, I had to slow down a little bit. You know, we went on those visits, man. I'm like, I got to slow down. I got to see what I had to break it down for it. And that's when it really started rolling in.
So what made you choose, who was your top 2-3 schools, and what made you choose Oklahoma?
Truly, my top 3 schools was Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, and Alabama. Growing up, I was a Pokes fan, like just underdog. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I want to see others win. I want to see others shine. I want people who don't really get the credit and the attention they deserve to win. Then, so initially was Oklahoma State. I got to Oklahoma and obviously seen the guys that they put out, seen the coaches they had, and the relationship I had with Coach Tibbs, and he was texting me every day, reaching out every day, showing me, telling me what they had planned for the future and whatnot. And then third was Alabama. Because Josh Jacobs Josh Jacobs' freshman year, had a really good freshman year. I was like, even at times, I had doubts in my mind of him not playing as good as he played. I thought he was going to play and stuff, but not to the level he did. So I'm like, okay, Josh Jacobs, a Tulsa kid, just like me. And, they gave him a shot. What makes me any different to him, So those are my top 3 schools. And I can say the reason why I went to Oklahoma was the consistency that they stayed in touch with me, and that the relationships that I built with the coaches. And I just felt like it was real. And another thing, it was close to home. And my mom, mama's boy, she always, she texts you every day.
Every day.
She always worried. You know what I'm saying?
Miss Leslie, I'm sorry. I don't want to bother Isaiah. Can you call up? Can you text me?
Yeah, so, and that was another thing, my mom, near and dear to my heart. So I was like, okay, Oklahoma has everything I need. And plus, I'm only 2 hours away from my mom. She can come anytime. Came to every home game of my career. And so that's what really made me end up going to Oklahoma.
Okay. So you step on foot at Oklahoma. And like Tulsa Public Schools and Memorial at the time, we had a good weight program, but it wasn't like the weight program is the Broken Arrows, the Jinx.
Boy.
What was your biggest adjustment from Memorial to OU your freshman year?
Exactly that, man. I was graduated high school at 225, 230. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking, like, if I get to 240, I'm straight. You know what I'm saying? And I was texting Coach Tibbs. He like, hey, what you weighing? It's like the summer going in before camp and stuff. I'm like, I text him proudly, 242. I was at 242, Coach. He like, he said, man, we got to try to get that up. I'm like, get that up. I'm like, you crazy. It's the biggest I ever been. I'm pushing 225 5 times. I'm like, you crazy. I said, I feel sorry for Orlando Brown. That draft stock dropping, you go against me.
Yeah.
Man, I get into camp, man. Getting to camp that year, I'm like 249 soaking wet, if that. And I'm struggling. Like, I'm going against Orlando Brown. Orlando Brown, 6'8", 350. You got Bobby Evans on the right side. You got Cody Ford. And you got Ben Powers and Creed Humphrey.
All them dudes in the NFL.
All of them. Every last one of them in the NFL. Every single one got drafted. And so I'm out there, and I'm just getting mad. Like, I'm like getting stalemate. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I can't move nobody. Wasn't as strong as I, was supposed to be and whatnot. And, it was levels to it. It's just true. There's levels to it, man. And you got to take your diet and, just your weightlifting and stuff like that. And even conditioning, man. It's not all about gaining weight. It's gaining the right weight. And I struggled with that, So I was just, was doing that. Then I was just putting on bad weight. I was like 255, but it wasn't like the 255 it should have been. And then that's when that freshman year, it was just kind of just like, okay, I just wait.
Did you question yourself? Like, man, I don't know if I can play at this level.
Freshman year, initially, yeah. But then again, I was like, okay, a lot of people in the country red shirt. So I was like, I wasn't too, discouraged or whatnot. So my first year, I wasn't too discouraged, But second year.
So that'll be a red shirt sophomore year.
Red shirt freshman year.
Red shirt freshman year.
Right.
Yeah,
My second year was my red shirt freshman year. Yeah. So then that came, I'm like, okay, red shirt, I did that. Now I got the right weight on, what I'm saying? I know the playbook and all this and that. And then, Ronnie Perkins came in. And Ronnie Perkins was ready from the jump. Ronnie Perkins came in at 260, 9% body fat.
So when you seen him, you like, oh, yeah.
And that was him coming in early. So I'm like, dang, like this is how he came in his freshman year. I looked at myself my freshman year. And y'all know Perk mentally a dog. Like he don't take nothing from nobody. Like he a dog for real. And I'll never forget. So I was supposed to be a 2 going into that year. And that spring, coach is like, okay, we got A field, B field. Y'all know the A field, B field and stuff. Coach is like, A field, B field. What I'm saying? Then like he said, all right, A field go. It's supposed to be me and Kenneth Mann. Then I see Kenneth Mann go, and I see Perk take off. I'm like, damn. I'm like, okay, let me go to B field just to, make sure coach don't yell at me. So I'm over there. I end up not touching A field. I ain't touch A field. Perk stayed over there the whole time because like coach ain't have a reason to take him off. Like Perk led the team in sacks his freshman year. Yeah. Then I sat. Then
Coach Tibbs didn't even send him. He just went.
I promise you, he just went, man. Perk got that mentality, man. He just like I'm gonna take it. Like it's mine. I'm gonna take it. And I'm over here like, all right, I'm saying I was more so trying to, how. I was trying more so not to mess up than to make plays. I was like,
Thinking too much.
I was thinking way too much. I was like, let me come out here to, I want to make plays, but let me focus on not messing up first. And that was the wrong mindset to have. And Perk, would make mistakes, but man, his mistakes looked like it was the right thing. Cause like, if you mess up, they say mess up going 100 miles per hour.
Facts.
So Perk, he's supposed to be in the C gap, but he slant to the B, rip, get a TFL sack. I'm like, dang, I can't even say nothing to him. I do that. It bounce outside 40-yard game. I'm like, I said, let me go ahead and jog off. Then so that year I was discouraged. That's when I was like, man, I don't know if this is for me, man. And then that third year comes, Kenneth Mann's gone. Me and Ronnie Perkins on at defensive end. So I'm like, okay, I know this is my time. Redshirt sophomore year. Like, it's my year. Marcus Stripling come in. Now this is the year that had me almost out of.
It had bro.
Almost had me hot. So Marcus Stripling came in freshman. You know what I'm saying? Strip was probably the same weight as I was. He was fast. He was real fast though. Strip was fast. And Coach Grinch came in. That's when Coach Grinch came in his first year. And they had Strip in front of me. And I'm like, during camp, I was doing my thing, making plays.
I know.
Production sheet, I'm at the top. I'm like, Perk was out with a concussion and ain't no fall off. So I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying, playing and stuff. Then I was starting at defensive end. Then when Perk came back, Perk was the one, understandably. I was like, Perk, 2 years in a row, led the team in sacks, TFLs. Then when Perk came back, he put Strip at the 2, and he was like, I just want to see what he'll do out there. I'm like, okay, I've seen him do this before. I never touched the 2 spot again, and you remember that year, I was at the 3 rotation, getting 10 reps a game, and as you know, I was almost out of there.
Bro was hot too.
So let me ask you this. After that year, so this is your third year, so it's your redshirt sophomore year.
Yep.
Coach Grinch get there.
Yep.
Why didn't you leave? Why didn't you hit the transfer portal? Because most kids, you know what I mean?
Easily give up.
Or
done.
something like that.
Yeah.
Why didn't you leave?
Man, I say, initially, for one, I knew I was at least the second best DN on the team. I was like, I know I'm a 2, for sure 2. If you're a 2 at D-line, Oklahoma, or any D1, you at least getting 20, 25 reps. So I'm like, that's all I need is a chance or whatever. Then last game of the season, boom, Perk failed the drug test. Perk out for 6 weeks for the next season. I'm like, okay, boom. I'm like, okay, that's a little, like, okay, I can do something.
And this
like
is
that.
in a bowl game against
LSU.
Yeah,
Right.
when we played Joe Burrow and them. And so Perk is suspended. Then I'm like contemplating an outlaw offseason. I think Houston was even on the radar, or some school down there in Texas that we were probably like looking into. And I'm like, I was talking to you, talking to my mom and stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna stick it out one more year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know I belong here, and I know I can beat Strip out for this position. And knowing Perk was suspended, then that's when Coach Kane came in, D-line coach. And that man, another man outside of you and y'all and you, Coach, man, that changed my life tremendously, man. So Coach Kane is now the LSU defensive line coach, man, and doing really well. He came to Oklahoma his first year that spring. First conversation we met, introduced. Second conversation we ever had was the day before spring practice. And he was saying, I don't care what they're saying about you not playing early in your career, only person I know is who I see right now. Show me who you are, and, I'll just take that and run with it and stuff. Then the words that really hit me, he was like, who's to say Ronnie Perkins has to start when he comes back? And in my head, I'm like, everybody gonna say Ronnie. I was like, what? I was like, this man, he led the team in sacks and TFLs the last 3 seasons. I was like, he's starting. I'm like, in my head, I'm saying that. But I'm like, man, is this coach blowing smoke, or is this coach really giving me a chance? Like, is he really gonna give me that shot? So going into camp, everything's great, playing, starting, and whatnot. Then going into the first game of the season, I ended up playing D-tackle that game because Perrion Winfrey got suspended. He wasn't suspended, but he got benched that game, and so I ended up playing D-tackle. But I was ready for that because COVID had just hit, and we had so many people out. And one day, coach was just like, "Hey, I need you to play D-tackle, and that's why you should always know more than just your job." So never played D-tackle ever in my life outside of middle school and stuff. And threw me in there, and I was killing it. I was sending you clips religiously, like playing D-tackle at 255, holding the point, rip, getting sacks and stuff. But then after that, played DN and played defensive end, was playing really well. Had like 4.5, 5 sacks before Perk came back. Led the team in TFLs at the time too. Then Ronnie Perkins came back. Then LaRon Stokes got injured. Then coach called me. He was like, "Hey, I want to talk to you and Perk." Ended up, he was like, "Hey, look, like we obviously want both of you on the field." He said, "IT, you played D-tackle. How would you feel about moving inside? You got Perk outside of you, Nick Benito outside of you, Perrion next to you." At the time, I'm like, man, I've been balling. I don't want to have no fall off. Then, man, that was the best thing that ever happened.
So let me ask you this question. When that lineup, the 4 you just named, Ronnie Perkins, you, Perrion, and Nick, did you ever think in your mind, like, man, we pros?
Not initially, no. I was like, man, we got Perk, who just got back from suspension, man. I was like, I don't know how good he gonna be. Am I a one-hit wonder? Am I just doing it? Just my only year?
Yeah.
Perrion, everybody know Perrion crazy, man.
Yeah.
And Nick, man, Nick loves basketball. So I'm like, is he committed to this or whatever?
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, we got a bunch of, just, hoodlums out here, just running to the ball and stuff. Then after, I want to say, when Perk came back, we were top 3 in TFLs and sacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, man, we got some dogs. And you could ask Coach Chip, you could ask Drew Hill and all them up there. You'd be like, what's like one of the best D-line fronts, all around? And he'll say our group is one of the best.
So when did Isaiah Thomas know he was a pro?
When did I know I was a pro? I don't want to say after that. I don't want to say that season because that was the year I was like, okay,
I got to do it again.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I got to prove myself. I got to do it again. And that next year which ended up being my last year. What game was it? It wasn't Texas game. I think it was before that. I think it was Texas game, but it was Texas Tech game. It was Texas Tech game. I had 2.5 sacks. I had 2 PBUs, 3 TFLs, and a forced fumble. And I'm like, man, like this is me. This is me. Like this is my team, my defense. Like this and that. And I was like, man, I belong in the league. So I was like, and I was doing it. I was at D tackle. I'm like, I'm doing this inside and out. So I was like, man, this is who I am and stuff like that. And I'm getting a lot of rave, a lot of buzz and stuff. And that's when I was like, I'm a
You
pro.
want to know when I knew you was when we was at the Army All-American game in San Antonio, was going against that tackle from that went to Stanford.
Yeah, he played for Jacksonville now.
Walker.
Yeah.
Walker Little.
He had a couple of reps
Yeah.
against him. I'm like, oh yeah, we got a chance.
Yeah,
We got a
Walker
chance.
Little, man. Ended up going against him in the preseason too.
Okay,
Jacksonville.
Okay. So your senior year, you kill it again.
Yep.
What was your mindset like after your senior year? Was it like, let me get ready, I'm gonna get drafted? Like, what was your mindset?
Mindset for sure was like, okay, let me get out of here early. So I left. So season ended. Well, my season ended after we lost to Oklahoma State and Coach Riley left. So
Y'all
I was
lost to who?
Oklahoma State, man.
Okay.
You
You had the flu that game.
Yeah, I
too,
did.
right?
I did have the flu that game. I did. I was real sick that game. I was sick that game, man. The one game I was sick as a dog, man.
Yeah.
But
We got some OSU fans. I can't say their names, but we got some OSU fans here, man.
But so Coach Riley left after that, and talked to my agent and stuff. And
Man, let's stop.
Let's go back.
Man.
How was that when he left?
Link,
and I know that's your guy.
Link's my dog. Yeah,
And then you went.
Yeah.
You created a big buzz.
I did.
Can you clear the air?
Yeah. Let me clear that. So me and Link cool, man. I was just it got took the wrong way. 'Cause I like to joke around. So what happened was, so we lost to Oklahoma State. Coach Riley has an interview that night. Coach Riley, man, what's LSU, man, what's this going on? I will not be the next head coach at LSU. I'm like, my dog Stan, he ain't going nowhere, man. My dog loyal 4L, man. Next day, team meeting at 2:00. Okay, he want to give us a little break before the bowl game and whatnot. He said, phone buzzing. Kerry Murdoch hit me up. He said, hey, you hear about Link? I said, what happened? He said, I was like, he ain't going to LSU. He said, he going to USC. I'm like, man, quit playing. Twitter ain't saying nothing. He said, I'm kidding. He said, what are you doing right now? I said, we got a team meeting in 10 minutes. He said, all right. Talking to him, I'm talking to Caleb Williams, Spencer. I'm like, hey, y'all hear about Coach Riley? He said, no, he just, he in the office. We in the meeting, phones, ding, 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 going crazy. Link walking there 5 minutes later, talking about, sure you guys heard by now, taking the next head coaching job at USC. And talked to us for like 5 minutes, my door's up there. It really wasn't. He left right after the meeting. He was like, I'm one call away and whatnot. I love you guys. This place changed my life, and left. 5 minutes and just dipped out.
Everybody looking at you like, damn.
What? Looking at each other like, that's it? You know what I'm saying? And then left on the PJ the next morning on the jet. Then after that, I made a comment. So on USC's Instagram, Coach Riley was like, this place will be the mecca of college football. I said, man, he told us that last week. And man, they blew up. It was on ESPN, Sports Center.
They still posting.
They still repost. Still, bro. I'm 100,000 likes and stuff. Phone blowing up. People think I got beef with Link. I'm like, y'all know me. I like to joke around and stuff. So it was just a little joke.
But what's crazy is after that, y'all still stay in contact, even though you was just playing.
Link still hit me up on draft day, pre-draft. Text me after my first sack and all that stuff. So yeah, me and Link cool, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, we're gonna take a quick little break and then we come back. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Talk of the Town 918.
This episode is brought to you by the Smith Family Agency. It's simple. They make sure you have the right insurance coverage on your home, auto, or business. They also have the best prices for insurance in Oklahoma. Call my guy Brian Smith with questions, and he will give you a quick quote. We trust him to always do the right thing for you and your family. Call Smith Family Agency at 918-417-3733 7400 and tell them the Bubby sent you.
All right, back again at the McLean Barbershop. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And shout out to my guy, Mr. on the Soul Pool, man. Hit him up on the sweatshirts, man. He got T-shirts and sweatshirts. Hit him
And
up.
we at the McLean Barbershop, too,
Yeah.
man. Shout
Always
out
at the,
CJ.
Always in Lester Lab, the two managers.
Yeah.
We
The
back.
two olders, man.
Yeah, we back with our guy, Isaiah Thomas, the Cleveland Browns. Okay, at OU, Isaiah. When Lincoln was there, say it was quarterback university. You had a chance to play with Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, and Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
What made them dudes special? And if you had to pick one on the last drive.
Okay. Let me start. All right, let me see what makes him different. Okay, so Bake, man, he's a leader through and through. Like, through and through, vocal and on the field, man. Won a Heisman my freshman year, and it was like crazy, something like I ain't never seen before. And Kyler, not as much as the vocal type leader until he needs to be, but that generational talent, generational athlete, legs, baseball, football, all that generational, man, one of a kind. And and when it comes to Jalen Hurts, I say he's a little bit of both of them. Can run like Kyler. At Oklahoma, throw like Baker, and he was the best leader for sure. The best leader, I'm talking after 400 yards passing, 100 yards rushing, he's in the weight room squatting.
So that wasn't no joke.
Nah, that was real. That wasn't for Instagram. That was real. Like he was really up there for an extra hour. Pads on, working out and stuff, and he was a leader that brought everybody along. And it was like, okay, if he doing this, why shouldn't I be doing this? And Caleb Williams, man, he's one of a kind. I don't know how to explain him. He's a kid though, man. He's like goofy, man. He like to play around and stuff. Then we all know when he came in against Texas, man.
Okay, let me ask you this before you say that. When did you know he was special? Since he was a freshman.
Yeah.
When did you know he was special?
Training camp, man. That kid, man, he could be running like crazy on us, and we could not stop him, man. And Coach Riley, essentially, had a different offense for him when he came in. Like, if you look at how the offense was ran with Spencer, then when Caleb Williams came, it was
a lot of quarterback run game.
A lot of quarterback design run game, draw, QB reads and stuff like that, QB power, all that stuff. And he could, I say he probably has the best arm out of all of them, man. That bomb he threw to Marvin Mims in the corner for the, stuff like that he's done is unreal. And I say if I had to pick one
drive,
you like all four of them.
I do. I do.
2 minutes. You got it. Yep. Okay. Bedlam. Y'all down 6. You need to go get a touchdown. A 2-minute drive. Who you picking?
Man. Dang. Okay. I can honestly say it's out of Caleb Williams, right? Just because of what he's doing now and what he did at OU. I say it's out of Caleb Williams and Baker Mayfield. And I say Baker Mayfield because he got that can't lose at Oklahoma, that can't lose mentality. Like I'm not gonna let y'all. Baker was determined. When it came to Oklahoma, when it came to Oklahoma State, when it came to Texas, he was like that can't lose mentality. Like got the mustache and whatnot, and it was just like it was intimidating for opponents. They wouldn't admit it, man, but no, it was something that drove the team. And Caleb Williams, man, just because he's unreal. Like. The last time we played Oklahoma State, I swear some calls didn't go our way. When that my last game in the end zone, a couple PI calls. But and Caleb Williams, because man, he was that last drive was essentially what you just brought up. What I'm saying? We needed that win, and he was driving it down the field when all hope was lost. 40-yard run, throwing bombs to the end zone and stuff, and a couple calls that didn't go our way. So I say Baker and Caleb Williams.
Gotcha. Okay. So your senior year, you're going through the draft process. Well, you're really going through it out the year.
Yeah.
What are you hearing?
I say, as far as draft projection, so hearing 3rd to 5th at the latest. And, Arizona was the second round. Arizona was like, the shot in the dark. Like, okay, if all things fall in my favor, Arizona's second round. And that's what I was hearing during the pre-draft. And then pre-draft process came up, training out in California, mid-December, got there early. A week later, found out I'm having a baby. I was like, whole world just got, okay, I need to focus, whatever. And so nothing changed really, just out there in California, I was out there focusing on my diet and everything, training. And it paid off at the combine. My combine was really good, man. And so throughout that process, I'm just thinking no distractions. Didn't go out one time during that in California, out there in San Diego, LA. Didn't go out one time, out there just training, enjoying the process, building relationships. And I say that's one of the most important things I did was building relationships. Y'all know coaches, connections, what I'm saying? It's important to have those relationships, man. And I was building relationships with players, coaches, and D-line coaches as well. And that really helped me throughout my pre-draft process as far as talking to coaches and knowing what to say, knowing what to do. And the football stuff just took care of itself as far as me performing at the combine.
Gotcha. Let's go through draft day. What was the feeling like? you kind of knew about day one.
Yeah, for sure.
You didn't know you was gonna go, but day 2 and day 3, what was it feeling like, and what did it feel like getting drafted in the 7th round?
Yeah. So day 1, obviously, didn't have that first round grade, so I'm just enjoying it with the family, just grateful. Day 2, I knew it was a chance I could go 2nd or 3rd, and I'm like, okay, just like, anxious, like, hoping Arizona takes a chance on me or whatever. And they end up drafting 2 DNs actually back to back, and that just had me. That lit a fire under me. I can't lie, that lit a fire under me. But other than that, seeing my boy Nick Benito get drafted, seeing my boy Brian Asamoah get drafted, that was exciting, especially for my dog Nick Benito, and all what he went through and stuff, and all the doubts that they had on him. He went 2nd round, and then so day 3 came. I'm like, okay, 4th or 5th at the latest is what I'm thinking. 4th or 5th at the latest. Didn't go 4th, didn't go 5th, and now I'm like, I don't know where I'm gonna fall at, because that was my draft grades or whatever. 6th round came up, I slipped, and I was outside just like contemplating or whatever. Then I get a phone call. It's from the Saints, man, and the Saints is like, like, we're not gonna draft you. I'm like, I almost like, hey, don't call me that. But they was like, but if you go undrafted, we want to sign you, all this and that. And I'm like, okay, don't really want to hear about that. And, wasn't really trying to deal with it. Then the start of the 2nd round, I was the 2nd pick of the 7th round.
7th round.
Yeah. Started that. So I'm just watching, I just got done talking to my uncle and his homeboy Chris, man, and he was just, giving me words of wisdom and saying, it'll happen, what I'm saying? I worked this hard to be drafted, And people, and I will say, people say being 7th round and being undrafted is essentially the same thing. It is not, by any means the same. I was the 7th round and we got undrafted players. It is drastically different as far as, how the system is and just how the league works and stuff. It is drastically different. So getting drafted having that next to your name is a big deal. Then 2nd pick came and, get a phone call, Cleveland Brown. Then it was a lady, and I was kind of confused because I was like, okay, Stefanski, the head coach, GM, is, so I'm like kind of confused. And she was like, hey, this is such and such in the front office. I'm going to get you on a Zoom call with Stefanski and our GM. And I'm like, whoa. It's Coach Stefanski right there, Andrew Berry right there talking, hey, picks coming up, we're going to draft you and stuff. And, that feeling was so surreal, man. It's like I was just having a bunch of flashbacks of being in middle school, high school, my uncle taking me in 4th grade or 5th grade running hills while all the other kids eating ice cream in the parking lot with their parents. I'm like, I'm like, why are we doing this, man? My boy Johnny over there got an ice cream. So I was like, it all hit me at once, man. And I was extremely emotional and extremely grateful, man. And that changed my life drastically. And definitely, credit you two guys a lot for that, for the connections that you built for me to be in that position, man. And, coaching me. I played some receiver and tight end, too. Forgot to mention that, man.
It helped, but again, it helped you, though.
It helped, man. And I was even, sorry, I don't mean to backtrack, but even then, I was talking, I don't know if you remember this, but I was like, Tibbs came, and we were doing that drill
through the bags.
Yeah, we were doing that drill through the bags. And I'm thinking like, man, am my feet slow on this? And he's like, nah, you good, man. Don't overthink it and stuff. And just like looking now how my feet are, and I just always think back to that, man. Just how that bag drill, we do that every day before practice.
Because Tibbs was like, damn, I didn't know he had good feet like that.
Man, and the whole time I'm, in my head like, damn, I feel like I'm slow right now. And I'm like, damn, I need to move and stuff. And he's like, don't overthink it. I don't want to get hurt and nothing like that.
And that was the first time we did that drill because I knew Tibbs was going to be there. And I'm like, I got to show him that he can move and stuff like that.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, even when I didn't see it in myself, y'all knew what I was capable of. Right. And that drill alone, man, had me like in my head, like, bro, I do not look like, I do not feel how I think I should look, whatever. And the whole time I'm looking good.
You looking good.
And all that. So, man, yeah, that stuff really paid off.
Okay. So take us through OTAs or whatever, or your welcome to the NFL moment. Where was it? Like, what happened? What was your welcome to the NFL? And what was the biggest adjustment also from OU to the NFL?
Biggest adjustment, schedule-wise, because they know you're not in school no more. So football, 14 hours. You wake up, eat, ain't no, I mean, you got a little break and stuff like that. But if you in that little window, you better be, in the training room, treatment room, outside on the bags or something like that. Like, ain't no excuse like, oh, I got homework, coach. I got to catch up on it. I'm quick to, Coach Kane, I got this paper, man. Coach, I got this paper, dog. It's due tomorrow, man. Whole thing that might do 2 weeks, man. But so they know your schedule, man. And I say that was like, just I wouldn't say it was the biggest like adjustment, but just that discipline, something that just had to add to myself, that integrity, doing the right thing when no one's watching. And that was like one of the bigger adjustments. And I hope I haven't had like a real welcome to the NFL moment. At least I hope I had it already. I ain't got to see nothing crazy in the future. But I say it was my first ever NFL snap. It was against the New York Jets, man. And it was my first play. Myles Garrett on the left side, I'm on the right. I'm in my head like this Madden all over again. I'm like, okay, I ain't even looking at the backfield set. I'm about to make a play. Yeah. Tackle go down, man. Ain't nobody blocking me. When something come down, something coming back. So I'm like, hey, ain't nobody here. I look to my left. Boom. I'm head ringing. I'm like, I had to get underneath and spill it and stuff like that. I get to the sideline, like, you straight? I'm like, I'm good, man. I'm on the side. I'm looking at the trainer. Hey, I'm like, hey, I promise you can go look it up. So my first snap was it was about to be like in the second quarter or whatever like that. I'm lined up. I'm on the right side again. I'm lined up. Their left tackle false start. And it's like second and long now. Get Myles Garrett in pass rush. So I'm like, he lucky. He was scared. He must have heard about me. I'm like, that's why he jumped. That's why he jumped. So I'm like, whatever. When I got in on my first play, like when the ball actually snapped, tackle went down, nobody came or whatever. So I'm like, okay, I'm about to make a play. I look to my left. I'm trying to get underneath. Bow, head ringing. I'm like, dang, I cannot show this, boy. And I said that was my welcome to the NFL moment, just that studying and, knowing, not to be too, stargazing and whatnot, focus on your job. Like, I've been out there on the same field as Tom Brady now.
Have you have a moment when you were starstruck?
Yeah, man. I seen when we played the Bills, man, I'm looking at Stephon Diggs in warm-ups, like, that's him. Like
real,
that's Stephon Diggs for real. Yeah. I'm looking at Von Miller, like, I'm like just waiting on him. I'm like, man, like he about to make a play. I just can see it, I'm just saying. And, I love D linemen, so I'm looking at Grady Jarrett for the Falcons, man. I'm just looking at guys, and we played the Buccaneers, and I seen Tom Brady. I'm like, man, we out here on the same field together, like, and Lamar Jackson, what I'm saying? He's another generational talent, just playing against him, and I had a really good game against them, man. So there's been some moments where I'm like, trying not to focus on it, but I have a little moment.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
No, you brought him up plenty of times.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, man.
What do you mean to you?
That's my dog now, man. Like, he's actually more than just a football player, man. And obviously, a lot of people just see athlete, top player in the league. He eats, sleep, breathe football. All this and that. But he's a normal guy, man. He likes to just go out, take photos and just like, do photography and stuff like that. And as far as what he means to me, man, that's the definition of a mentor, dog. Like I told you guys before, man, he wanted me to go to England with him and do some training and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, like for real? He said, man, if you want, man, come on. Like, I'll take you under. Then I'll be with him in Dallas a little bit training and stuff like that. And just how he's such a pro is unreal, man. It's like he moves like a ballerina out there, the way he can bend and stuff. Like, his like knee is almost like scraping the turf, and next thing you know, he'll rip up and make a sack. And you're like, how does he do that, man? And he is unreal, just his work ethic. And man, sometimes he'll like, post videos of him working out and stuff like that. That's like in his like garage or whatever, and it's just stuff he's doing after games and stuff. And he's a real mentor and somebody I look up to, somebody I've been a fan of since I was in high school. When he was at A&M, that's all I talked about was Myles Garrett. And I never compared myself to him because he plays differently than I do, but it's definitely somebody I look up to. And they always say, never meet your heroes; they'll let you down. He's the opposite, man, and he lived up to it, man.
What's one thing you take away from him? Like, if you could take one thing, what is it?
I honestly, it wouldn't even be anything physical as far as what he can do. I'd say his approach to the game, and at times people may say he sounds arrogant or cocky, but he's just confident in his abilities, man. And I definitely say that mindset, man, because he's definitely out there. Like we'll be talking and stuff, and we line up on the same side. So I'll tell him what I see, and I'll tell him what he sees, and he'll tell me what he sees and stuff like that. And he's like, I'm gonna do it next time. He's not gonna block me, and just like that, like he's not gonna block me. And he finished the season with 16.5 sacks, first team All Pro, six-time Pro Bowl. So he backs up everything too. So I say his mentality for sure.
What was the feeling like when you got Joe Burrow?
Man, hey, I had to get that back in blood, man. So yeah, he beat us in college or whatever. And before the game, I'm joking like, I got to get him back for what he did in college. Joking about it and whatnot. Then the game start, and I would like to say I'm a student of the game. Obviously I can do more here and there, and obviously in a lot of areas. But I say when I study, I study hard. And Monday Night Football, Halloween game, man, and so I come out in my little Michael Myers fit, for Halloween or whatever. Yeah. Then, before the game, I'm knowing I'm gonna get some playing time and stuff like that. So I'm like, I gotta make the most of it. Then, watching film, I just seen how the tendencies of that O-line. He loves the anchor and stuff. Then I'm watching him, man. I'm looking at the jumbotron, how he's blocking Miles, and every time Miles rushed against him, he's bracing because Miles is strong. So Miles will rush and he like brace. He'd always shoot that outside arm. And, I love the long arm. So I was like, I'm gonna show that power. He gonna brace, and I'm like, club. And it was perfect, man. I'm rushing, and I was saying it on the sideline. I promise you can ask anybody up there. I was like, I promise I'm hitting with this move, and I'm gonna get the sack or whatever. And so I'm rushing. I show power, then I pull it away, and I slipped, and he's like, almost falls on his face. And I Joe Burrow right there, and boom, got the sack, and it's loud in there. It's like it was
Bro,
like
was trippy. But the crazy thing about it, because our TV was late, so the phone, bing, 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 bing,
Mike
bing.
texted me.
Bro, like Isaiah must have did something. We look up, You got that sack.
Hey, I was turned, man. And it reminded me of my first sack of when I was in college, man, against Baylor in the Big 12 championship. And I swear, it's just like you just go deaf, man. It's just like deafening how loud it is to you. You know, it's like your first big play. You know, guys is proud of me. I'm looking at all these like teammates and coaches just like recognizing what I've done and stuff. And it was surreal, man. I can't lie.
Give us 3 of the top players you ever played against. It could be middle school, high school, college, and NFL. Give us 3 of the top players you ever played against.
3 of the top players I ever played against. Played against or okay. Look,
Or with, yeah.
Okay. Obviously Myles Garrett, but I'm not gonna count him. That's a given. 3 of the top players I ever played against or with.
Give us 5, bro. You could give us 5.
Okay, I'll go 5. I'll go a couple in the league right now. I'll go a couple offensive linemen to give them their respect because Tristan Wirfs, right tackle for the Buccaneers, is a monster. I say outside of Lane Johnson, he's the best right tackle in the league, man.
I got you.
That is a tree log right there. He is massive, bro. I'm like, I didn't even know what to do against him. I'm rushing. I don't even know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do a little something. I was like, hopefully he slipped this play. He got me. I was like, mild switch? No? Okay, cool. Let me keep going. So Tristan Wirfs is the real deal, man. I gotta give him his credit, man. That he is the real deal. Honestly, man, like I touched on earlier, Malik Greenlee, dog. Like middle school, high school, Malik Greenlee, man, he is unreal. If he was 3 inches taller, man, he might be sitting right. He might be right next to me, dog.
That's a fact.
Malik Greenlee was a guy who worked harder than anybody I seen in high school. I'm like, why is he doing this? Like before a game, running LaFortune. I'm like, bro, what is you doing? We got a game in 45 minutes, dog. Then 10 tackles a game. He was a dog. Kill all mentality, man. And I say another player. 3 more players. Yeah, I'm tripping. 3 more players. I say just as a player and how gifted he is was Kyler Murray. Just seeing him, man, and how it translates to the league, he's unreal. And how he was in high school as well, undefeated and stuff like that. He was unreal, and even out there on the field, it was effortless to him, man. Like you would never see him outside of football just because you would always think he's like busy working on himself. But so I say Kyler Murray as well. Let me say, Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb for sure, dog. Yeah, I got to give Nick Chubb his credit. Nick Chubb is unreal. It's like he's running downhill. It's like he's running at practice. And you're like, I'm not finna tackle him. Like it's like he's running down the hill. I promise you. He's like a bowling ball. And he's like the most humble guy ever. He's quiet. Doesn't say too much. You'll never see him smile. At least outside of the locker room, you'll never see him smile. And that's a kid right there, man, who gives you his all. And I say one last one. I'll do another offensive lineman because I got a lot of respect for him and played with him. Creed Humphrey, man.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Creed Humphrey, man. That kid right there is all about his business. Played against him in high school, a couple, 2 or 3 times, and played against him. Played with him in college, and now in the league, he's the best. Outside of Jason Kelsey for the Eagles, he's the best center in football as a rookie last year. So I say those 5 players always stood out to me. I give O-linemen their credit because I go against them all the time. I don't want to always give it to the skill players because the O-linemen.
Let's bring up a skill player though, because we got some Dallas Cowboy fans in here, and I done heard this name so many times, but you play with him now.
Yeah,
Amari Cooper.
Yeah. That's the route runner right there, man.
That's what everybody says.
That's the route runner right there, man. He's crisp, dog, and he just came off a 1,000-yard receiving season, man. Washington, he had 3 for like 125, 2 touchdowns.
He's nice.
He's nice, man. That's another one. Quiet, ain't going to celebrate too crazy or nothing like that, man. But he gonna go out there and work. And I was watching him in the preseason. I didn't get the chance to see him and Denzel Ward go against each other because Denzel Ward was hurt.
Right.
Yeah, but seeing him when we were against the Eagles in camp, he was against Darius Slay, and even Greg Newsome, one of our defensive backs. I'm just like, man, like this guy is crisp, like this, and he ain't even gonna say nothing unless you say something to him. And he gonna back it up every time, man. And he legit, and I see why he 100 M's. He worth every penny.
Let me ask you about another receiver for the Dallas Cowboys that you actually real close to. Play with him out. OU. CD Lamb. How special is CD?
It's a superstar right there, man. That kid. I remember my freshman year, we had just got done with camp. And we were talking about the roster and stuff. I said, where they got you at? He said, I'm number 1. I said, you the 1 receiver? He was like, I said, oh, God. I said, I'm in my head. I'm like, this is my red shirt. They must be joking with me. I'm like, okay, they might be going to bring me up week 2 or something. But he started week 1, was a go-to receiver and stuff like that. And now it's panning out. He's the number 1 receiver at Dallas and having a real good, spectacular season. You know what I'm saying? Putting up the numbers, backing it up. He going to put on a little show for you and stuff. And I think that's a guy who didn't get enough credit when Coop was there, just because Coop was, that guy and stuff. And now he's getting the love, the attention that he rightfully deserves. And he works hard too, man. That's a guy who's naturally gifted, but works just as hard, man. Just seeing him after practice and seeing the mindset that he has. And before a game in the locker room, like, man, he ain't messing with me. Like, he ain't messing with me. I don't know if y'all ever seen the tweet But CD like predicted his stats the season before or something like that. He was like, it was like before his last season. He was like, next season, 75 catches, 1,200 yards, 11 touchdowns. I think he had like 10 touchdowns instead of 11. But it's just, if he wants it, he'll go get it.
Gotcha. And we got a couple more questions before we get out of here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask you this question. I'm gonna give you 3 names, and I want you to tell the camera or whatever what they mean to you. And the first name is Leslie. Who's your mother?
Right.
What does that lady mean to you?
Man, she means the world to me, dog. Obviously, like I said, didn't have my father in my life. So mother worked 2 jobs, providing, doing all she could, her and my uncle, to get me in football, get me through this and that, what I'm saying? Put me in these little programs to try and make sure that I had every opportunity to get scouted and recruited. And so, she'll still text me today, like I live in the house, like, hey, did you make sure you take your car to the shop? Hey, I'm a grown man. But no, I didn't take it to the shop yet, man. But yeah, she means the world to me. Seeing how hard she works, man, and, being able to give back to her whenever she needs, whenever she wants to, just to randomly just, send her something, what I'm saying, randomly surprise her with a gift, man, it means the world to me. And I wish I could do more, what I'm saying. I always feel like there's not enough. Like, people, like I was talking to, we had a little financial class up there at the Browns, and they were like, who all feels like they owe their parents something, and we all raised their hands, and they were like, nah, like, they're your parents, they should be doing this, you don't owe them anything. And I'm like, no, my mom, like, I owe her everything, she need 10, 100, she got it, what I'm saying, whatever. So my mom, she means the world to me, man, and even now, I think she just got off work, if I'm being honest, man. She always work. I always tell her, take some time off, and she just, I need to be doing this, because if I ain't doing this, I'm gonna be, all this and that. So
gotcha.
Yeah, that woman means the world to me.
Name number 2. Your Uncle Bobby. What does he mean to you?
Man, it's more as a father than an uncle, man. And like I said, we was in 4th, 5th grade. I'm running hills, man, after practice, and kids is in the parking lot eating ice cream with their parents and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, like, why am I doing this, man? Like, how kids is, man. I don't want to do that, man. He like, nah, man, you got 5 more. So I'm doing this and that, no ice cream after. I'm like, man, whatever, dog. I'm going to get some ice cream when I go to Granny house, because she going to give me some ice cream.
Yeah.
I go there, your uncle told me now? I'm like, okay. And, I'm just seeing little things on why I'm different compared to everybody else. I'm like, okay, like, he took me under his wing, and my mom was working doubles, you know what I'm saying, like that. He made sure I wasn't, resembling the same acts of my environment. And even to this day, man, I can reach out to him for advice, hit him up, man, and it means the world to me. And, I know he'll watch this, so, man, I really appreciate you, Bobby, for real.
Last name. Your little one, Aubrey.
Yeah, man.
What she mean to you?
That's my little princess right there, dog. And she's a daddy's girl for real, man. And I love that feeling, because, like, she's 4 months old now. She'll be 5 months on the 19th. And I'm sorry, on the 22nd. Forgive me, Kelby. I'm sorry. Yeah. So, yeah, she's a daddy's girl through and through, man. I'll be holding her. She'll fall asleep on my chest at least once a day, easily. I'll be holding her for 10, 15 minutes, give her to her mom. She start crying. I'm like, nah, give it back to me. I got her and stuff. And I can say she's a big part of why my success in the preseason happened, because
that's fine.
Yeah, so she was born a week after my first preseason game, and I had 2 sacks my preseason game, 3 TFLs, and it really like opened doors. Like coaches is like, wow, man, like, oh, this and that, like, what I'm saying, you exceeding expectations and stuff. And I credited it to her. I was like, I got a daughter here in a week, man. I got to make this team, and I got to show to her that, I got to give her a world that I didn't have growing up. Yeah, so definitely, that's my little princess, man.
Gotcha. One more. What about your sister, though?
Oh, man, that's my road dog right there, Alexis, man. We text every day, man. And, she was like a mother when my mom wasn't there. Alexis was just cooking for us. She was watching my little brother, little sister while I'm on the game and stuff. And I'm just like, dang, she doing it, no complaints at all, what I'm saying? And always reaching out to me. Good luck, good luck, this and that. I heard this happen. You okay? You know what I'm saying? Do you need anything? I'm like, I should be reaching out to her, looking out for her. And she treated me like a little brother, which how she should, man. Always looking out for me, making sure I got, she would actually fight for me sometime in elementary school. Like, if somebody was picking on me, I swear, she'd be quick to square up. So that's my sister.
And you got 2 sisters and 1 brother?
Yeah.
I got you. Okay.
And any regrets? If you can go back and change anything, any regrets?
I try to live life with no regrets, but if I'm being honest, man, that's not a real. If I'm being honest, I believe everybody has something that they wish they could do. It's not. I definitely wouldn't have went to Oklahoma State, but I truly feel like everybody has something they wish they could change or take back. And I'm being honest, I wish I would have took my first year or 2 in college more serious, man. Like, I took it serious, but like I told you, Perk's mindset, he run out there, he take it. Like, that's my spot. I should have had that mentality. I should have. I was complacent in being the first, kid from Memorial with D1 offers. Like, I'm the first kid with this and that since 19 such and such. You know what I'm saying? I made it, I'm this and that, and I was letting that get to my head. So I wish I could have took things more serious and focused on, the future instead of in the moment. I was so excited to be at OU, and I wouldn't even think about the league.
Okay. Well, before we get out of here, we got a couple youth in here. Give us a message to the youth. Something that you can tell them to inspire them or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just look in that camera, look at the two over there, and just give them a message.
Yeah, I say, for one, school, man. I know school's a big one, especially recently, man. Kids, don't really like school. I didn't like school, man, but I went because I had to, and it changed my life, When schools was recruiting me, first thing they looked at was grades, and I had a 3.5, so I was straight. And I can say to y'all, man, don't ever think that it can't be you to make it, man, because nobody from my high school got drafted since, 77 or 87 or something like that. And I was walking them halls the same way, like, football, NFL, that's a long shot. I'm trying to hoop dreams, you know what I'm saying? It's Memorial, and I never thought it could be me. The next thing I know, I got Bob Stoops knocking at my door, trying to talk to my mom and stuff like that. So don't ever think it can't be you just because your circumstances, man. I was single parent household, 4 kids, didn't have my dad. And, just kept pushing and believed in myself, and surround yourself with people that you want to have the same goals and intentions with, because, man, I was hanging around a good group of friends, man, who, they aren't, NFL superstars, nothing like that, man, but they got their head on their shoulders and still alive and still out of, not in jail. So surround yourself with people that you want to have success with and that in what you want to be, Go to school, take it serious, and just appreciate the people around you. And always do right, because I truly believe what you do out into the world comes back out to you. Make the right decisions, and I promise you'll be successful.
Appreciate you, Isaiah.
Yes, sir.
Talk of the Town 918. We got my guy Isaiah Thomas with the Cleveland Browns. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and thank the owner, CJ, at the McLean Barbershop. Come get a haircut by him, too.